These videos are educational in nature and meant to help 21 and over adult smokers switch to a healthier alternative. Welcome back to the channel, folks. I am Matt. Hope you're all doing well. Today, we are going to check out the Novo 6 from Smok. Yes, the newest device in the very popular Novo line, so let's go ahead and dive into it. So inside, you will have a user manual and warranty info. You'll then get this card that tells you what pods will work with this, the Novo 5 pods, and these new pods are cross-compatible, so they'll work with the Novo 5 device. Then you got your device with one pod pre-installed, and then a second pod and a USB-C cable. All right, so here is the device. Built-in 1700 milliamp hour battery, making it quite large. Could be the largest Novo battery we've seen. I think it is, but I could be missing something. It's a chunky boy. It's definitely a little bit thicker than some past devices, but I really like how it's contoured. So you can see there's not really any hard edges here. You got a zinc alloy frame, all right? A nice rubberized base right there. These plastic, PCTG style panels with a cool design underneath them. Says Novo 6 right there. Smok right there. You got your button and it says Smart Chip right there. You do have your airflow control on the side here. Perfect amount of resistance on that. Really like the way they did that. So there it is, all the way open. And then you can close it down like so. There is no smaller hole on this side, so if you want to get a tight draw, you still want to leave that hole just slightly open. Now this does come with two 0.6 ohm pods on the new pod style, 3 ml capacity. There's a look at your mouthpiece. You got a top fill, and to fill it up, you have this nice, spring-loaded valve there, so you push down, then you fill, and that will keep it more airtight inside of there, so it has less chance of leaking, stuff like that. And when it's a fresh pod, you do want to let it sit a few minutes so that wicking can get nice and saturated. They have an interesting, honeycomb airflow path that'll cut down on any leaking with a device like this. It's a newer gen pod, like we've seen with some of the other brands. All the new pods coming out recently have been really, really good. They're less likely to leak. They last longer. Only thing I'm not super keen about with these is the mouthpiece is fairly thick, but it's not horrible. It's kind of on the edge there for me. There's what the inside looks like. You got contacts and magnets, and these are a press fit pod. So let's turn it on with 5 clicks. Has some haptic feedback, has some quick directions there just on the button presses, what to do. Pretty cool. And you have your ohm load, a puff counter, your battery percentage, and your wattage. If you go 1, 2, now you can adjust that wattage, and this has the capability of going all the way up to 40 watts, but it does have, a smart feature, so depending on what pod you're using, it'll top you out. With these 0.6 ohms, it tops you out at 21 watts. If you go 1, 2, 3, now you're in these menu settings, and each time you press the button, you get a little bit of haptic feedback. Long press there, it tells you what coil you have inside, the single ohm 0.6 ohm. Then your theme. You got 3 different options. We're on minimalist. You got mech. Let's go to that one. There's what that looks like. The other one is sunset. All right, pretty cool. I actually dig that. But, I think I like the minimalist one the most. Then you have puff track. You could see your total puffs, and it'll even, break it down depending on which pod you're using in this, which is nice. Then you got animation. We'll keep that on. Vibration. You can turn that on or off. The blue, is what the highlighted is. So now we're on. And then you got exit. All right. If you just do a long press when you're on the home page, you have puff remind, which is pretty cool. You can set a certain amount of puffs. So say, each day you're trying to only have 100 puffs. It will remind you once you hit that. So nice little feature for those folks that are trying to, limit how much they're vaping or trying to, slowly wean themselves down. Also, just to keep in mind, this button does not fire the device. Feels nice. Has a nice click to it. It doesn't lock, but that's why you need, multiple presses to do things like change your wattage. So there's a look at it in the hand with an 18650 Home Tech battery, the Home Depot. It's a step up compared to some of the smaller pod systems as far as size goes. A little bit thicker than some of them, a little bit taller, but still definitely pocketable, and you get a good amount of battery in this guy. Now, as far as how I would carry this here, I like this type of color combo, silvers, blues, stuff like that. Vosteed Corgi here. Love this knife. You have multiple different ways to open it. Little button lock situation, which is cool. Front flip, I'm not very good at those, but there's what that looks like. And this one's just really fun to fidget with. Really nice detent. You know, you can obviously just press down on the button though. I like this guy. I've been using this knife a ton, you know, pretty inexpensive too for pocket knives. And then we got the, I believe this is Lumentop FWAA Titanium Light. I've had this for a couple years, but I think these go well together. So that's how I would carry these three. All right, guys, let's go ahead and go up top. We're gonna vape this and talk about it a little more. All right, so here's the Smok Novo 6. Now this one has the 0.6 ohm pod in it. Remember, both of them are 0.6 ohm. I have 12 milligram inside. We're gonna start out with the airflow all the way open, and we're gonna try to do a direct lung. Here we go. It's a tighter, restricted lung hit, wide open. You know, you're not getting a ton of air, but you could definitely do a restricted lung hit. I would probably use 6 milligram if that's where I was going with this though. 21 watts, airflow all the way open. A little too much nicotine there. So now I'm gonna dial the airflow down and we're gonna go to 17 watts. I'm about 2/3 of the way closed. Here we go. Really good. Yeah. Now, I've had more time to use this since I did the up close, and the mouthpiece, even though it's thicker, it's really comfortable. Doesn't bother me as much as I thought it might, because it's not too wide. It's a little bit thicker than some others, but I still like the way it's contoured and curved, and it's actually pretty comfortable. Great flavor. Super smooth draw. I can get a nice medium mouth to lung draw if that's what I'm going for. Let's close it all the way down. Then it's a really tight MTL draw. So no issues with the airflow control whatsoever. I think they did a good job on it. And the tab doesn't protrude out too much. Really well done. So they're not reinventing the wheel here. It's incremental upgrades with these new pods, but they are backwards compatible with the Novo 5 device. Great flavor on these. 3 ml capacity, top fill. Really, really nice pods. Some of the best that I've tried from Smok. Super smooth, really nice flavor. Really like the looks of this device as well. It's a bit on the shinier side, but they balanced it out. So much better looking compared to some of Smok's older devices. They used to always do like a glossy finish or like a race car look. This is classy to me. It's simple, yet has a really cool design. I like the way that they did that, that texture look on there. Are there any cons with this? I wish I could lock this button. Yeah, it doesn't fire, but if you put this in the pocket, you could long press, accidentally set that puff reminder or whatever. It's not a huge deal, definitely not a deal breaker, but it's something worth mentioning. You know, you could maybe accidentally adjust your wattage on this if you really got unlucky where, you know, touched it twice and then scrolled through. But anyway, just something worth mentioning. Besides that, you can't really hold it like this because of where the airflow is. It's more of a fingertip device. Most are like that nowadays though. Nothing else to really complain about. Good sized battery here, very pocketable. Love the shape on this. It's really nice and contoured. I like the rubberized base on the bottom as well. Airflow control really well done. The look of it really well done. And the performance on this is fantastic. Very good. So for those Novo lovers out there, they're definitely going to like this one. You got to say it's the best one that they put out so far. I don't think it's super close. Just the new pods, the look of this thing gives you everything you're going to want without being too overly complicated. Good size battery, great vape quality, very, very nicely done. All right. Well, I hope this review is helpful for all of you out there. That about wraps it up. Until next time, thanks for watching.